Oh, let me get rid of Slack. Okay.
You're live.
Hello, everybody. Simon Dixon here, and welcome to a more chilled out, rather than a masterclass, AMA session. The goal of this session is we got so many questions during the masterclass that we didn't get round to. So Azad asked me if we could put together an AMA session and just reel off as many questions as we can get through. So firstly, congratulations to everybody that completed the complete free live masterclass. You got till the rest of the week. We're going to have that website up before we revert back to the old site. So take my challenge and binge. For those of you that have watched some of my shorter form videos, you know that I talked about the ISA challenge. The ISA challenge was to make 2022 the best year ever and to have more Bitcoin each month than you had the previous month. So that's my challenge to you. Will you take it? What we noticed is that this time last year, a bunch of people were wanting to do the online wealth management program. They weren't quite ready financially to commit to completing it. And they implemented what they learned in the free masterclass, the free video series that we completed last year. And they have joined this year simply because they implemented it and they made such good returns over that year that they're now in a position where they're like, holy crap, I need to sort out all of the different parts, whether it be asset protection structures, seeing if we can use retirement plans for tax deferral, and putting together a strategy so that I don't lose it. Because once you've built it, you've protected it. You're thinking about protecting it. So it's amazing to see how many people joined this year as a result of just implementing what they learned in the free last year and now in a position to take action and put it all into action. Right, okay, so I just want to take as many questions as I can. I think we're going to do, let's just see how many we can get through. The idea behind this, as we said, is just let's get your questions out there. We want this to be 100% dictated by you. So to get your questions answered, if you haven't asked them, we've already got 200 questions already. So upvoting is going to become important. If you would like to upvote people's questions, then you can head over to retirementplanb.com. When you go to retirementplanb.com, you will see this page. Actually, no, it's not a retirementplanb.com. You would have received an email. How do people find that, Azad? The actual page here where they can ask the questions.
Yes, so there's actually retirementplanb.com/masterclass_AMA. And
okay, awesome.
Down, and here it is.
Excellent. Okay, so I see some more questions have come in. There's over 200 questions for people to upvote on and see what you would like to get answered, or submit your own question and see if people want to upvote your question. But the goal of this is no more content, just simply go through your questions and see what content we can produce based upon your question. So this is a democratized AMA session, and those that are at the top of the board are the ones we're going to take. And yeah, we're going to get through. So we're going to keep it focused. It's on any of the content during the live masterclass that you want further clarity on, and any content related to the online wealth management program. It was incredible to see that just during the live masterclass, almost all the spots went. Now we've got a little bit of time to fill up those final spots. We're taking on 500 people and class begins next Monday. So there's a little countdown there so you can see how much time you have. But if it reaches the 500 people, then we close that button, or we'll keep that going right till the end. Class begins on Monday. So let's jump right in, I think, Azad. Anything else we need to go through? Maybe let's show them what happens if they click that button, just so they can see on the webinar page everything there. So you've got a little countdown. That countdown is for when we close registrations. If you want to register here, there's a video recap of everything that's covered. Here's all the dates. Let's scroll further down. So you can see all those dates there. Class begins on Monday. Then every Friday we do a live session. Keep going. What else have we got in here? We go through each and every module, what's covered in every module. We go through all the bonuses, what's covered in every bonus. So really this should give you everything you need. There's the price there. There's the button which will take you through. Click that button, Azad. When you click that button, just an important note, a few people got confused. They started filling out their details, but you can fill out your details, but you've got to hit that big yellow button to add it to cart. And that will then add it to your cart. It will start going orange. And then you can just enter your details. And if you will then immediately receive a confirmation email. And in that confirmation email, it will be your login details. And right on the other side, I've got content in there and the community all getting to know each other right now, networking and sharing their stories of their aspirations and goals. And I'm reading all of those comments as well. So welcome everybody that's joined the program so far and can't wait to get started. So let's jump into the AMA. So let's move over to the board and let's take the most upvoted questions.
Okay, is there somewhere I can go to read reviews of the course by the previous 500 attendees?
What an awesome question. Yes, we got reviews from everybody. They completed a survey. Everyone that was willing to leave a review, we got those. So why don't we get the team to put all those, we just have to go through all the people that gave their permission to share it, but I think there was over 300 reviews from last year. We'll pull all those together. Why don't we add that as a PDF underneath this video tomorrow? So I think we've got all those reviews together. I'll get the team, I'll add that to the task list for the team to go through. But yeah, the reviews were awesome. There we go, we've got a little doc there. Let's try and make it a little bit prettier. And that's literally every single review. We haven't cherry picked or anything.
Yep. Okay. Next question. All right. Next question is, all my crypto and my wealth is under my name as individual. How should I transfer them to a company, LLC, trust, etc., to protect my assets and save on taxes?
I can't give you tax advice because I'm not a tax advisor. However, if you own assets as an individual and you want to transfer them to a company, most tax advisors would tell you that that is a taxable event. And so the approach that we go through is people understanding you can't really change the past. The past is the past. And so if you purchase them as an individual, then you own them as an individual and you would need to consult your legal and tax advisor. And to make a transfer, you can certainly go through a process of documenting the transfer process, but most tax advisors would tell you that would create a taxable event because in effect, you're selling assets that you own and selling them to a company or transferring them to a company. Obviously, that varies in your jurisdiction and your situation. But one of the things you can do is look to invest them into the company and then put a retirement plan B structure within that company. And then you're subject to the various company taxes and whatever it is in your jurisdiction. So that would require a bit more work. But yeah, most jurisdictions, depending on where you live and depending on your situation, you would create a taxable event normally when transferring your assets to a company. So the best thing to do is get the structure right from the beginning. So the process we go through is we tell people to stop creating taxable events while they assess the situation. Then begin the record keeping of everything they've done in the past, and we give them all the easy ways and software to do that. And then start looking at setting up a retirement plan B and a structure, and then whether they can put together a legal structure to defer, and then go into a pay-as-you-go relocation strategy is the approach that many of our retirement plan B people were following. Next question.
It's more of a statement. I guess they're looking for a response. So this is from Charles. The last Bitcoin will be mined sometime during the year 2140. So nothing to worry about in our lifetimes.
Yeah, not really. It is true, that is accurate. It will be the last Bitcoin block reward will be mined in 2140. However, almost 18.5 million of them have been mined, and it's almost reaching the stage where transaction fees are significant. So when people are mining, when miners are mining, they receive a block reward and a transaction fee. And this is the importance of transaction fees in order to maintain the security of the network, because miners will be needed to be rewarded. But almost all of those Bitcoins have been mined every 4 years. It halves the number of Bitcoins that are mined every 10 minutes. And so even though it does go on to 2140, it is a diminishing number of Bitcoins because it halves every single 4 years. So at some stage shortly, if not already, transaction fees become important for maintaining the security of the network. So all of these altcoins that say you've got to get cheaper fees, depending on their model, if they're using proof of work, they're not really thinking of the long term. Next question.
Does the trust structure that will be set up on course allow for houses and family wealth inheritance to be protected through the same trust?
So what we do is we have experts and lawyers that share with you the different things to consider in the inheritance side, and you may decide that a trust is something that you want to set up. And so if you do, you can go out, you would then need to go out to trust providers that might be able to fulfill your goals. This doesn't set up a trust for you. Having said that, if you are a high net worth investor, and as we are applying for an additional license to be able to support non-high net worth investors, we have a portfolio builder structure. And that portfolio builder structure is the exact structure that I use for my retirement plan B. And we put together almost like a McDonald's menu of, if everyone wants to utilize the exact same structure, then we have the ability to do that if you on board and you meet those requirements. But that is, we don't actually set up a trust for you. You'd still need your legal advisors. And if you're going deep into your individual estate and all of that stuff, then we provide you with the education to make your decisions. But we can't provide that individualized advice. That would need a tax advisor and a legal advisor as well that would look at your situation and put together bespoke advice for you. Next question.
Okay, question from Grebulon. Do you think Bitcoin would work just as well with a world human population, much less than it is now?
Not a question I've thought about, but I think Bitcoin works. If you're talking about a doomsday scenario where the world gets wiped out and there's only a few humans left, then I don't think Bitcoin matters at that stage. But I don't see population being a significant impact. I've never seen a study on adoption of Bitcoin relative to population. So I think it's the same analysis of every single financial market, really, and every currency. I don't see anything unique to Bitcoin where population matters.
Okay, what are your thoughts on moving crypto into a charitable remainder trust, CRT?
So not something I could provide legal advice, because I'd have to be very familiar with what your goals are, what your aspirations are, and why you're doing that. But there are consequences to gifting, and gifting is something if you're going to be gifting and you have charitable allowances in your jurisdiction, then that's something that you would really need to look at the individual consequences based upon your tax situation, your exemptions, your jurisdiction, and how those are treated. But if there is one area that tax authorities are very interested in, it's gifting, because that's certainly an area where it's open to a lot of abuse. So make sure you get the correct advice if you're going to be doing something like that. Because those are the types of things that tax authorities look at. Again, can't give individualized tax advice, We provide we guide people on a structure, the structure that I'm using. And remember, all of this is about here's how I'm doing stuff. Here's the tools you can do to find out whether it's what your plan is. And then you can localize that down with your own tax advisors and advisors. And hopefully, if you're not in a position to get the advisors at this stage, then there is the community that are also pooling resources together. And you can hopefully make, like the last people, we can't obviously, the past performance is not an indicator of future returns. But those that implemented the retirement plan B since the free video series came out would have tripled the value of their retirement plan. And many people ended up doing the retirement plan B later. And hopefully they're in a position to get those individualized advisors to get the more bespoke service. And now they've got all the tools and all the understanding, and they know the right questions to ask, and they understand what they're trying to do. They've got a plan. Then they can take that to the correct advisors.
Okay, where do we go to find financial managers to put your plans into action? Mine is clueless on crypto assets.
Yeah, so the goal of the Retirement Plan B online wealth management program is to give you a complete understanding of your financial goals and what you want. And by the end of it, you have complete clarity on what you're trying to achieve. If you have any questions around that, we do sessions just like this, but just for the online wealth management program, and we do it in structure. So we release content on Monday, and then on Friday, we do the live questions. And by the end of that, you should, after all the 7 weeks and completing the bonuses, you then should have a really clear structure of what you're looking for. At that stage, you will know, because we cover both traditional financial planning and markets and crypto financial planning and markets. So you'll have a bridge where you can translate the crypto side into a side that a regular advisor would understand, so that you can bridge that language together, and then you're open up to the wider people that have got a lot of experience out without having to go in. If you want to go a little bit deeper, then we bring in our my expert advisors in various areas to provide some of the bonus content. And then the community in the Telegram group branch off into different jurisdictions, and they can also share the types of advisors that they're using as well.
Okay, another question from Grabulon. Bitcoin thinking, not fiat thinking, and repetition is the mother of all learning. Thanks, Simon, for these takeaways.
Yeah, brilliant. Quick review, quick recap. Repetition is the mother of all learning. I noticed that as in the information age in Gen Z, we tend to get people that are very, very speed driven because they were brought up in the information age where information is available to them instantly, and the patience levels as you go further and further up the generational side is decreasing. I have noticed as a general trend, just generalizing. And so in the day and age of instant gratification and instant information, you tend not to have longer term thinking in your psyche. So you have to rewire your brain a bit to understand, because you get caught up in all the traps of short-termism. And most people vastly underestimate what they could achieve in 5 to 10 years and completely overestimate what they could achieve in 1 year. And the irony is, when you start putting together a plan for 5 to 10 years, sometimes the 1 year can end up being the most amazing year ever, which is exactly what happened last year. And so long-term thinking is really important, and Bitcoin versus fiat thinking. Waiting for opportunities to accumulate Bitcoin. So the challenge that I gave everyone is to make sure that they have more Bitcoin every month than they had in the previous month. The best way to do that is for the price of Bitcoin to go down rather than up, because you'll end up with a lower amount of Bitcoin if you're adding to it versus what you could have got if the price goes down. And therefore, you are long-term thinking, and you're rewiring your brain the opposite of how everyone else thinks. And that's the key to, over the last decade, all the people that I've seen that have accumulated vast amounts of life-changing wealth and versus the ones that have just traded their way into sometimes ending up with no Bitcoin at the end.
Okay, I'm sitting on a lot of cash. Where would you store the cash safely while deciding how to plan my investment?
Yikes. Firstly, let's make sure that's an anonymous one. If you are sitting on I wouldn't consider myself an expert on this subject, but think about it's a bit harder than storing a private key. One of the modules that we cover in the wealth management program is the secure setup of money that you own, which should be treated as cash. However, cash is a bit bulkier and harder to store than Bitcoin. So I really can't give you that advice. Unfortunately, the world has decided that anyone that owns cash is a criminal nowadays. So trying to put that either into the banking system or put that into crypto or whatever it is. Firstly, make sure that you have done everything legally, obtained all that legally, paid the correct level of taxes, and then you can put together a legal plan so that you can rest safe at night. But am I an expert in how to store cash? Certainly not. However, maybe the principles that you can learn from Andreas in the security module is something that may translate into cash. Yeah, the word cash in the modern day and age has become a dirty word, and financial institutions and tend to treat people as criminals when they engage in the most private form of money, which is cash.
Okay, I live in Australia and already have a crypto SMSF. Are the strategies in your program still relevant? Thanks, Simon. The Websters are very helpful. Cheers.
No worries. So yes, it all depends upon what your retirement plan or your structure in your jurisdiction allows you to hold in it. One of the structures that we use and that I use is making sure that there's a retirement plan which can hold shares in companies, private equity. And if it can hold shares in companies, then the portfolio builder structure that we put together could be very applicable for that. And then automating all the different strategies into that structure. And so that's one of the options is that we'll be walking through on how to automate such a structure that is treated as a share in a company, and then you don't need to deal with all the complexities of explaining to these different providers how crypto, where you own the keys, is treated, and lending, and all the different nuances and complexities and staking and all that stuff that will send your traditional planners scratching their heads. So yeah, the key is to get to simplicity. Then it can sit underneath. Then you just have to know what your retirement plan can hold.
Okay, is your course once per 5 nights per week for 7 weeks?
So it is a 24-month, 2-year access to all the training online. And what we do is we release content every Monday. It's not live content, so you don't need to turn up for class on the Monday. And then every Friday, we do a live session where I just simply answer your questions, just like this, but with the private groups. It starts next Monday, and then it will continue, and the dates are all up here. We take a bit of a break for 3 weeks in the middle for the festive period. So if you don't celebrate the festive period, then you can use that as a time to catch up on bonuses and any homework that you need to do. Then we kick off into January, and then it ends after 7 weeks, and then you get the bonus, and you can have the Telegram community, the private alumni group, and also then you've got 24 access to the online portal to return to things as many times as you need and as and when needed. In terms of time zones, it's normally the same time that we're doing this webinar for the live sessions, and then the content is released at the same time as well. But you don't have to do the content as soon as it is released. We just recommend that you try and get it done before the AMA, so then you can ask better questions during the AMA and we can stay focused on that particular subject.
Okay. Can we move our existing Bank to the Future investments into these new structures?
So at Bank to the Future, there is the possibility of transferring your shares. If you go to the fees page on banktothefuture.com, you can see the cost to doing that. So your shares would have to be worth the cost to do that. And then you would need to consider the consequences of transferring to your individual to a company or whatever it may be. If you qualify for our portfolio builder service, at the moment, a transfer in is not something that we offer at this stage, but there is a big roadmap of different types of features that people would like to see. So that may be a service in the future, but at the moment, using our portfolio builder service, you would be starting a retirement plan from scratch and using the automation and benefits to put together and implement the strategy, should you qualify for that. Yeah, the structure that you may set up on your own can be implemented. And if you want to request a share transfer, then we have to get lawyers and to actually execute that for you. Or if you have a company account on Bank to the Future and you have an individual account on Bank to the Future, then you could, and if one of your shares is tradable on the secondary market, then you could place a sell order as an individual and a buy order as a retirement plan structure. And that would be a lower cost alternative because it's all automated through technology rather than having to do a bespoke transfer. So that all depends what's in your portfolio if that's up on the secondary market there.
Are there additional costs after enrollment, like monthly or annual cost?
No, so the retirement plan, the online wealth management program it does not have any additional training or monthly costs or anything. It's fully inclusive. We have additional services, like for example, if you wanted to use banktothefuture.com to purchase crypto, then it would be just as if you were signing up as a new member on banktothefuture.com. Or if you wanted to invest in shares in companies, then those are all subject to all the usual fees at banktothefuture.com. And if you wanted to set up a portfolio builder with us, which is where you actually set up, then that's a completely different service. So yeah, there would be costs associated with that. But in terms of the online wealth management program, there is no upsell. We guide you on exactly how to do it from start to finish. And then if you wanted to use one of those portfolio builders and you qualified, there's a big waiting queue for that at the moment. Then that would be a separate cost. And we like to surprise people with the best rates for those that have actually done the online wealth management program. But no monthly cost. It's a one cost there to complete the online wealth management program.
Does your program only cover Bitcoin, or does it include other crypto assets and other stocks and shares, formulating what is termed as a balanced portfolio?
Yeah, so we cover the strategies that we gave in session 3 of the masterclass, and we make sure that you're aware of all the different areas and how they all fit together and how to take advantage of them in a simplified, automated way. So that's what it covers is exactly what I do in my retirement plan B, and step by step of exactly how I've done it, and that's what's covered. And then all the information and education you need to implement that to yourself. So yeah, it's not just Bitcoin. It's the balanced portfolio, it's the retirement plan A with the traditional market. It's the retirement plan B, and then it's the money management, financial planning, and asset allocations for you to take why I've made those decisions, apply it to yourself, and then set your own portfolio so that you can automate the process.
Okay, question from Jim. Is there a discount offer for BF Global investors as with the first round?
No. So when we first launched it, we sent out probably 5 emails to every shareholder where they received a discount if you were a shareholder in banktothefuture.com, the company I co-founded. But that was only available to the first round. Every single person that is enrolling onto the online wealth management program, if they weren't a previous graduate or anything like that, they're all paying the same price. We have no discount for shareholders. That was an offer last year, and we emailed many times to say that that's a one-time offer.
Okay, well, people that don't make it into the wealth management course get all the details on how to implement the retirement plan B.
You have the online wealth management program. The online wealth management program is for those that pay. The only what we've given is covered in the live masterclass. So the free part is masterclasses 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 was really covering more on summarizing everything and the wealth management program. And then we're leaving that website up for the rest of the week, so you can binge on that if you haven't completed it. And then next week we focus purely on the online wealth management program. And so, yeah, that's all for those that are paying and joining the wealth management program. We're not making it free later because I think people would be extremely upset that they paid for that and then it became available free for everyone. And, you know, this is the price point that we have to charge in order to deliver the level of service that we want and cap it at those 500 relative to the amount of demand that is out there for people that want to complete this. So, yeah, free, unfortunately, is not a bespoke service level that we can offer.
If I have some Bitcoin already and I'm closer than 10 years from retirement, is there still value for me in the program?
So I'd say almost everyone that's did the program last year and has completed and will be completing this program already has Bitcoin. And we stated that if you have at least 10 years to retirement, many people, the reason we gave that 10 years number is to be very conservative. If you look at history, then we have entered into almost 2-year bear cycle markets. And so if you retire during one of those bear cycles, and if that happens again, then the effectiveness, you haven't given it enough time to fully growth and income compound. So we recommend really planning for 3 to 5 years. It just happens that everyone joined last year, did incredibly well within 1 year. And to be very conservative, we just say that 10-year time frame. So certainly this would be something that may be appropriate for you if you think you'd get out from everything we've said and all the details we've given. I think we've given enough information for you to decide if you think this is right for you.
I think you may have asked this question, but I'm seeing a lot of questions come up similar to this. How many hours commitment needed for the 7-week course?
Minimum of 4 hours per week to stay up to date, to do the training and the homework. And then we tend to do, a Q&A session, which would be up to 2 hours or so. So you're looking at about 4 to 6 hours per week commitment. We recommend block it out in your calendar, try and stay up to date. But if you don't, you've always got the ability to go back, return to it. If you're further along, you can binge over some period. But we release week by week during the live phase over the next 7 weeks, starting next week. And there is that festive period in the middle where you might want to catch up as well if you've got behind on anything. So we block out that amount of time. And then there's the tinkering and execution.
Okay, I think it's worth getting an answer for this. Is the fee of 2,997 in USD or UKP? I'm asking from South Africa.
Good point. We always forget to do this one. So it is US dollars. And sometimes we put the dollar price up there when we forget to put the US in front. But yeah, it's US dollars.
Okay, how much?
Note, Azad, we have to update that on the website to make that more clear.
Noted. How much capital should you have to invest so it makes sense to use the program?
Yeah. So our ideal client would have $10,000 of investable capital. However, we show people how I do it with no savings. The minimum requirement to implement is a regular income. And if you have a regular income, then you can use what you've learned in the retirement plan B. But if you've already got a minimum of $10,000 of savings, then you're in the ideal phase, and that scales up to as far as you want to go. I implemented it with $1 million. I ended up investing a lot more than that as well. So it scales up and scales down. So it really doesn't matter what you're starting with, but the ideal for us is that you're ready to go with $10,000 because you may not be able to take advantage of all the products if you are starting on lower sums. However, I showed exactly how I do it with no savings, but just a regular income.
Okay, I think this is a good question. What does a typical retirement plan cost to set up when including the cost of accountants, tax agents, company formations, and all recommended in the RPB approach?
How long is a piece of string? So what we did is we put together the portfolio builder service so that you could benefit from all the money we spent. In terms of what we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on tax advisors, legal advisors, financial advisors. We spent a lot of money to do that, and then we condense all the information down so that you can benefit from that, and then you can decide what you need to do to localize a lot more. If you are referring to the actual portfolio builder, then we've already sunk all the fixed costs to set everything up, and then we benefit from everybody being able to take advantage of a much lower cost structure. Because typically, when I already spent hundreds of thousands doing this on my own, and so within the wealth management program, if you qualify for the portfolio builder, then you could take advantage of lower cost structures. And because you've already got a lot of the information, we think that it would be much more cost effective for you. But it really depends on how you implement this. So if you want to set up a very bespoke family trust, then those can be pretty pricey things to work with your legal advisors on. If you have lots of taxable events and you need to integrate that into what you've done, then there will be your accountant or tax advisor. But using and understanding many of the tools that we'll go through can reduce those costs for you. But that's how long is a piece of string. We have people that implemented this whole thing on a complete shoestring. If you qualify for the portfolio builder, we gave a very low cost structure because we've already done all the sunk cost. But you might decide that you're sat on a large chunk of money, and therefore you really want to get the best experts and the best advisors and the best bespoke structuring for you. Again, we're not upselling any of those advisory services. This is all, we give you the information, we give you the tools, and then you can go out and decide how you want to implement those.
Okay, I'd like to close my crypto traditional IRA and put it all on this program, or can I implement it inside that account?
It depends on your IRA provider. If your IRA provider allows you to hold shares in private equity, then you may be able to just put it within your existing plan. But again, that depends on your existing provider. One of the things I would say is don't change anything you are doing. If you're going to be doing the wealth management program, carry on doing what you're doing. And then as you learn, you'll have complete clarity on exactly what you want to do. But if you're not going to be joining the wealth management program, then implement what you've learned and you can make those decisions. But what we want to do is really give you the tools so that you can put together sound money management. And if you're saying, I want to take all of this out and put all of it in there, then we would go through different allocations and different asset allocations than all or nothing. That wouldn't be the type of thing we recommend.
All right, question from Jay. Is the timing of this course and crypto market late in the game? Will we be able to take advantage, or will it be in a bear market by course end?
Hopefully a bear market. So if you're a fiat thinker, then you're worried that you've missed the boat and you need to return to live Masterclass 1 on the question of should I buy or should I sell now, and what stops people from buying. I can tell by the question that was a fiat thinking question. And so most people that are doing the retirement plan B, if they've adapted to Bitcoin thinking, then they really, really hope that there is a bear market. But if not, if it continues into bull market, then you've also got the exact approach and the exact strategy, and you start generating returns as you go, which is what happened with everybody last year. They didn't get the bear market, they just got a continued bull market, and they ended up tripling the value of their retirement plan. And I think hopefully if many of them are adjusting to Bitcoin thinking, then they're looking for some corrections. But what we do is we do not care. We put together a plan. I really don't care whether we're bull market, bear market. I'm putting together an unshakable structure where I just really don't worry and I'm not subject to the emotions of market. Of course, I'm not a robot, I'm a human, and I make sure that I've got tools and strategies to manage my emotions and my psychology, so I don't fall mercy to the pitfalls and traps that take people off course, and all of the things that I've seen over the last decade where people just don't stick to the plan and end up being traders and end up making really big mistakes.
I think the next question here is quite interesting, and I think a lot of people are probably joining for a number of reasons, but this is quite popular. How do we avoid paying income tax on interest earned?
So can't give you tax advice, but the way to do that is by using a retirement plan where you have legal tax deferral, and then you pay your tax as you go when you draw out of your retirement plan, if you get the structure right, rather than paying, having to pay as an individual. So the answer to that is not lending yourself as an individual, and using a kind of a company or trust or retirement plan structure. And we covered that in Masterclass 3. Yep, Masterclass 3, where we went through some of the different ways of owning it. So ownership is the key question that you need to ask yourself. And ownership is the question that in the wealth management program, people will be asking themselves.
Do you accept bank transfer to join?
We don't, unfortunately. It's card payments or crypto payments or stablecoin or Bitcoin or Ether or a range. But we don't have unfortunately at this stage, because by the time the bank transfer would have cleared in the international markets, it would have been too late, I think. So maybe if you have a balance on banktothefuture.com and you're already verified, certified, and been through that process, but maybe, it is card payments and crypto payments at this stage.
How relevant is the program if not totally adapted to the jurisdiction I live in?
So we put together a global structure, and then we have, for example, in US, UK, Australia, we got various different opinions for some of our portfolio builder structures and various other things. But this was put together to be completely country independent. And then you have all the relevant information so that you can then localize a bit more to your individual situation. So my guess is it will be very relevant because we had people from many different countries in the first one. And if you see the reviews that we'll be putting up in the PDF tomorrow and put underneath this, you'll see that we had really good people response, and people were from many, many different countries. But it is an important point. We're not going to go specific. If you are from this country, this is exactly what you should do, because we can't give that prescriptive financial, tax, legal advice. We want to give you the tools so that you are empowered to make your decisions and then localize.
All right. Question from Toby. Question. I've got 5 Bitcoins in my account. So I'm assuming that's a Bank to the Future account. Can I just use that for the retirement plan B, or do I have to keep funding the account on a monthly or weekly basis?
So the way that I invest in my retirement plan B is that I put in an initial lump sum and then I contribute every month. And that is the optimum structure to meet the challenge of ensuring that you have more Bitcoin each month than you had in the previous month. So that's you can go for just a lump sum. And one of the things we do is you putting together again, we've got to take a step back. You need to put together your plan of the goals that you're looking to achieve for your retirement. We give you the tools to do that. And then that dictates the flow and strategy, and whether you go for just lump sum, dollar cost averaging. We really want people to benefit from both a growth and compounded income strategy. So that's the way that retirement plan B tends to work, which is how most retirement plans, they keep contributing.
Okay, different countries have different tax laws. Please explain how the course caters to folks outside USA, or please list countries more suitable for the course.
So we cover how many countries. It's definitely not USA centric. It is a course that says here's global structures for global citizens. And then you may have different unique, areas that you need to look at in because even in US, it's not even it's not even country there. You need to go state by state, depending on which state you're in. And so there is not a list of countries. It is a global structure. I think global. And when I set up my retirement plan B, I'm not thinking about where I live. I'm thinking about a global structure that gives me the optimum levels of freedom to do as I choose. And then you can decide when, if you can get a deferral structure through retirement plan setup, then you can look at simplifying and pay as you go, as we said, and relocation. So whatever you choose to do. This is about thinking global and then deciding to localize.
Okay, I'm an Australian investor and have held Bitcoin in cold storage both privately and through my self-managed superannuation fund. Will Plan B assist me in compounding?
So if you follow the retirement plan B approach, then you will benefit from both growth and income compounding. I get both growth and income compounding in my retirement plan B. And then if you set up a structure and your retirement plan is able to hold the shares, it all depends on your retirement plan, or whether you don't even put a retirement plan on top. The clarity will be given throughout the program, and you will decide exactly how you want to proceed with that, whether you want to hold it as an individual, whether you want to take advantage of what your existing structures. And as I said, it's not country specific. It's a global structure, and then your country will have certain retirement plan structures, and you can marry the two together with the information based upon the financial goals that you set for yourself and your goals and aspirations that you set, by investing the time to really think through this.
Okay, question from James. If I got 3,000 USDT in my Bank to the Future account, can I use that to pay? Can I use to pay the masterclass, and how? I think they're referring to the online wealth management program.
Yeah, so what I'd recommend, because Bank to the Future is regulated as a securities business, and when you're paying for the wealth management program, you have a small window of time to make the payment, because the payment has to clear through coin payments within a certain time, otherwise the transaction cancels. I recommend that you withdraw from Bank to the Future as Tether, and then take that to your own wallet. So if you have your own hosted wallet or anything, and then you can make the payment using coin payments on the page. Because what you don't want to do is end up with the delay, because we have to comply with securities laws and do manual checks. It's not instant payments when withdrawing. But once you've got it in your exchange account or whatever it may be, then you can have an instant, faster payment once it's in your own control. So sure, you can do that, but yeah, request the withdrawal, put it into your own wallet, and then make the payment from your own wallet on the Bank to the Future, on the Retirement Plan B page.
Okay, this question.
Actually, Azad, maybe we could pull up that. Have you got the page where they do the checkout? I can just show you for those of you that are a bit confused.
Yep.
So you're on the if you're on the webinar page, below this webinar there'll be a button. You click that button and it will take you to the page with all the information. And then when you click that button on there, you'll be taken here. And when you add it to checkout, maybe it will make you add a bunch of details. If you click the yellow button. Okay, so you've now added it, and if you scroll down a little bit further, you enter all your details on the left, and then you can start to place an order. Okay, you don't want to watch someone doing that, but then you just select card or crypto, and you can select all the different crypto options. Okay, let's get back to the questions.
Okay, if I only had access to an iPad for the first 4 weeks, would I still be able to complete everything, or do I need a PC, Mac every week to do due diligence?
No, we are completely iPad friendly and mobile app friendly. In fact, I do almost everything from mobile app. There is one exception. We do the spreadsheets. Maybe a bit tricky for you to do from an iPad, but if you're cool, you can do them obviously, but some people find that a little bit trickier as a user experience. But if you're cool using a spreadsheet, the training portal is completely optimized. It is a great experience. I watch all my videos on mobile and iPad, so that's no problem. And you can do the spreadsheets on your iPad as well. However, you might, if you're a little bit, you might find it a bit fiddly because spreadsheets on iPad are not the perfect experience. But saying that, I do quite a lot of stuff there.
Okay, do you accept PayPal?
No, it's card payments or crypto.
What size monthly dollar cost average investment is enough for a sizable portfolio for a typical wage worker?
So there's no such thing as typical. It means that you have to do your financial plan, set your financial goals, put together your spreadsheets, and then you will set an allocation, and that will be based upon your assets and liabilities. and then you can just see what the results could be if the past equals the future, which it doesn't. And then you set your plan based upon that rather than there being atypical. And so what we want to do is we want to immerse you, put the time in doing the things that no one does apart from the professionals, so that you really think through these things and you know exactly what you're doing, and you have realistic expectations about what might happen should the Bitcoin and crypto market succeed, and then is hedging with other different asset classes. So there is no typical there. It's everyone can put together that plan and everyone can follow that plan wherever they are, as long as they have a regular income or lump sum.
Okay, we're getting loads of questions come through. We've got 5 minutes, unless you're happy to do extended time here, Simon.
All right, how many questions have we got?
In total, let's see. Let's check.
Okay, while Azad's checking that, I'll do a couple of things. So firstly, I'll go over, if everyone's enjoying this, a favor, if you want me to carry on, then if you're watching this on the page, then great. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button, see if we can get more people that have more questions as well. And I'll carry on for, we'll take some more questions. And I'll tell you what, why don't we do this again tomorrow as well, so we can get through some of these questions. So we'll try and I've got a few meetings that I've got to get to, so I'll put together this until I've got to shoot off, and then we'll go for another session tomorrow if everyone would like that. If you like that, hit the like button, and we'll make that happen.
So we got 203 questions.
Jeepers creepers.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, I think this is we've got one from America. Let's put that one up. I think you've answered it, but we are getting quite a lot of questions coming from the US, and they really want to purchase this program. But if we could just repeat that answer very briefly, if you've already answered it. I live in the US. I want to purchase the program. How will I know whether my geographical limitations are worth the investment? Would you refund it?
No. So the refund policy is that you join on Monday and you complete the first module. You decide if it's worth it for you. If it's not everything you expected and can see where this is going, then you can request a refund, but don't start on module 2 if you want a refund. Because module 2, if we can see if you've consumed the content, and our support team, before issuing a refund, there's no questions asked, but they'll check whether you've started on module 2. If you started on module 2, you lose the right to the refund. So you can try before you buy. Many of our clients are from the US, and the disclaimers there are that if you've ever engaged in the crypto industry, there are certain services. So, for example, when a company offers their shares on Bank to the Future, they can choose to restrict US. We have a US compliant process. We have a US broker dealer integrated into the platform. But we just trying to be very responsible and letting you know that sometimes those services aren't available. In many exchanges, may not want to offer such services to US because they're not regulated in order to offer that. But in almost all cases, there is an option, but we just have to let you know that the US is one of the most restricted. And if you've been involved in the market, you already know some of the restrictions. Having said that, there are great structures. There are services that are catered to US, and wherever we can, we go through what options are available in the US as well. So personally, I don't think that's a reason not to do it. We had many, as you can see, US clients in the testimonials that got a tremendous amount out of the program, implemented it, and got the results that they were looking for.
Okay, just one other question, another geographical one. I'm from Mexico, living in the US, California, not legally resident. I do taxes with my ITIN. My question is, can I do the course without a valid social security?
So there's a lot of regulations. So when you're trying to implement this, travel rules require you to have a social security number to engage with many financial service providers. The course isn't requiring you because we're not actually an investment product. We're just an educational product, and we give you all the tools on the wealth management program to implement this. So you don't have to have a social security number to purchase the program. The only caveat there, I would say, is that when you're signing up to crypto exchanges, you're certainly signing up to various other providers, you're going to need to do some due diligence. So if you were, for example, signing up to banktothefuture.com, if you reside in the US, then we are required to collect a social security number. So, it's when you reside in the US, even if you, there, but then if you have a structure, for example, a retirement plan in a different country, they'll look through to the ultimate beneficial owners. And if you reside in the US, then you're going to start to get those questions. So it's not something we require to do the program. It's just something you may encounter, you require when you're signing up to different brokers and various other service providers that can allow you to implement. There's also many decentralized options as well. So those are, we try to cater for many different options, and then you bespoke that into your situation.
Okay, it is gone past 6 o'clock now. Do you want to take 2 more questions?
Let's carry on. I'll do another half hour if you're up for it, Azad.
Yeah, I am. Okay,
I'll do another 30 minutes.
I think we tend to forget the many people out there who are novices, don't know much about crypto and investments, etc. So this is a good question. I'm a complete novice and have no infrastructure in place, example, no wallets or Coinbase, etc. accounts in place. Do I need them have already in place? I guess they're trying to ask, do they need all of this to do the program or something? Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is actually a real advantage because many people have made many mistakes and gone too far in some circumstances, or gone far. There's never too far. There's always a way of, starting in the correct way and learning from the past. But we did find last year there were crypto novices and they had a tremendous advantage because rather than having to go through their legacy services and legacy ways of doing stuff, for example, you might have, let's say, a Coinbase account, and you may have signed up as an individual, and therefore you made everything and all your decisions as an individual rather than opening a corporate account. Or you might have a banktothefuture.com as an individual rather than a business account, an org account. And so by doing this as a novice, you get to actually start with the end in mind, whereas most people, they already have done a lot, and they're looking to see what they're going to do with their previous situation and how they're going to do things in the future, and then merge those two together. So starting out as a novice is, we found last year, actually very beneficial. The information and the education curve can be quite steep. There's a lot of information there, but if you've seen my style of teaching, I try wherever I can to use everyday language and condense it down into things that may not be familiar with all the jargon. And one of the things we do in the module is really go through all the jargon busting traditional markets and crypto markets and make sure that you're up to scratch on that. And we had really experienced people last year, and we had people that were complete novices, and the reviews that we got from them were the same thing. So we've done what we can to cater for both use cases. And then you also find that you've got a bunch of experienced people in the alumni group and community, and they were helping each other because they're at different stages and different experiences. I think the one caveat is technical novice, i.e., you are not comfortable downloading apps or signing up. We tried to explain that to exchanges and services. Then that's going to be a real struggle because everything is done online. You definitely don't need to be a developer, but if you're really scared of technology and you're not comfortable, downloading Google Authenticator and various other things, then you might struggle implementing things.
Could you explain the user interface of Retirement Plan B, is it really simple to use?
Yeah, Azad, should we pull up the user interface?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to walk you through the portal. Here's the portal. So you receive an email as soon as you sign up. The second your payment is cleared, you'll receive a login. You'll receive two emails, one with a login link, the other with your login details. And then it will ask you to change your passwords to something unique to you. Please put a unique, good password in there. If you've signed up with other programs, for example, Azad's account here has different programs. There's no upsell, be clear. As I said earlier, if you want to use services, but there's no other course or anything like that, this is just a free course where we gave people access to my book. And you have access there. So this is last year's program. So if you click on the Retirement Plan B, then you can launch it there. And immediately when you log in, you'll see a little overview there. So you can start right here. So we have a big button there, start there. You can click on the first module. So click on the module and you just play that video below. You see there's a little button. You can mark it complete so you can track your progress. And then immediately once you completed it, allows you to go to the next module. You'll see a menu bar on the right where you can see all the different videos that are part of this module, and you can go through that. It's really simple. Below the videos, any downloads, you can just simply download there. There's a copy there. And if you've got a question or you want to engage with the community, then you can just simply leave a comment underneath. And you can see that, and you can see other people's comments as well. If you get lost at any other time, there's a menu bar at the top there. Whenever we release new content, you can see it on the yellow bar. You can see the different categories. And then if we go back to the main homepage again, you can just use that navigation there and then scroll down, and each week we release a new module. And so immediately you'll have the overview. At the moment, you won't see module 1 because it begins next Monday. And then you just keep going through module 2, module 3, and then we have the bonuses. Any live AMA sessions you can't make it, then we have the recordings in there. And you can submit your questions just in the same way that we're doing here. So we think it's a really slick interface. We think it's really simple to use. Yeah, so that's exactly how it looked. Let's return back to the questions. Also, you can participate, you can change your profile. You could choose to be anonymous in terms of your profile if you want to engage in the community, or you could decide that you want to use it as a networking tool, use your real name, real photo, and start building relationships within there. This is completely up to you.
Okay, next question is, will we have access to Pamela Morgan or other experts for inheritance planning and trust setup?
You'll have access to the content that is in the program. If you wanted to engage any of the other experts to do some one-to-one service or anything like that, then the cheap option is you can either read their books, but we got the bespoke, unique content just for retirement plan, and then any engagements that you have with any of the experts would be completely separate. So the bonus is where we cover all of the content and give you all the tools. So there's you don't get bespoke one-to-one service. That would be at a significantly different price point in order to be able to deliver that.
Okay, how long after the course do you offer support, and will there be a one-to-one support available?
No, we don't offer one-to-one support. That would have to be at a significantly higher price point. There is access to the program for 2 years. There is an alumni group, and the Q&A sessions are for the 7 weeks of the 7 modules. And so you get to ask your questions over each module at the end of each module. Then that's the level of service that is available here. We can't offer the one-to-one bespoke. That's something that you wouldn't be able to get at this stage. That would be where you go out to your advisors, but we give you all the tools to go out there and put that together. But you can return to the training at any stage, and you can engage with the community as well.
As an existing crypto holder and trader, can you access the structure setup of the retirement plan B, i.e. help an individual transfer assets into a structure?
So you will have all the tools to understand your situation if you decided to take your individual assets and you decided that it was right for you to hold it in a retirement plan. And you would have all the tools to understand the consequences so that you can then get the bespoke tax advice to understand your exact tax consequences or wherever it may be. So you could take assets that you own as an individual, invest them into your retirement plan, and then know what the consequences are and what the structures are. Or you could just stay as you are and then set up a new structure and invest into that new structure using your individual assets. What we do is make sure that you've got all of the record keeping that you need in order to plan and decide how to navigate that with all complete understanding of what that is and what that means to you.
Does the cost of the retirement class include the cost to set up the company and trust?
No, if you want to set up a trust, then you'd be using a trust provider. If you want to do our portfolio builder service, then we have a low-cost structure, but it's not included in the program. There is a waiting list, but everyone that does the wealth management program actually gets a special rate having done that. To give you ideas, setup fees for a structure are less than the price of the program. So we're not talking about the high big bucks that I paid to set up all this stuff. But no, the wealth management program is the wealth management program. And so if you want to get any professional services on, then you'd have to factor that as a separate cost.
A question from Hugo. If I'm not satisfied about retirement plan B, is there a refund policy?
Yeah, I'll say the refund policy again in case people are joining. You consume week one, and if you don't like week one, then don't start on week two when week two comes out, because you can decide whether you think this is right for you or not and request a refund. When requesting that refund, we will check whether you have completed module 2. And so you've got that 7-day period to decide whether it's right, wrong or right for you. So that's the refund policy. If you start going into module 2 and it's past that week 1, then there's no more refund at that stage. So you consume week 1, make sure you show up, decide if it's right for you. And if you're not happy with what you got, then write into support.
Okay, say I sign up today. How much time will I have to commit to your program? Week 1, 2, and so forth. What will I be asked to do on my own time to follow up, to follow your setup?
So we suggest blocking out approximately 4 to 6 hours, and that's including the live Q&A session, completing the training, and completing the homework. So we reckon 4 to 6 hours a week, and you'll put that commitment in, and we think you're going to have great results and enjoy the program.
We do have quite a few people from the UK, and as I live in the UK, I might as well do the honor in asking the following question. In the UK, how can we invest tax efficiently in Bitcoin proxies when many SIPs and ISAs do not allow you to hold the most popular instruments such as GBTC and ARC?
Find a provider that does is 1, and 2, put together a structure whereby it is only shares and the crypto is not. So these are the types of things that we cover. You're trying to explain complex products, but we've had many people on the Retirement Plan B program that are from the UK and haven't had problems implementing.
Is your proposed financial structure able to weather the tax deferral for citizens whose country, like US or Canada, who check income from all over the world?
So again, you'd have to get your own tax advice and make your own assessment of that. But we did engage and spend a lot of money on US Tax Council, and they gave us all the parameters and guidelines. And there are, tax rules can change, all sorts of stuff can change. All the disclaimers need to be there. But we put this structure together to work in those jurisdictions, and we spent a lot of time and money to put together a structure that would simplify and achieve asset protection and the benefits that come from that. So there are US structures that are completely within the law, but you'd certainly need to be comfortable with that, get your own legal advice, get your own tax advice, and know that things are moving targets as well. So there's no way we can give you that 100% level of insurance when things change. But we know that these are time-tested principles.
Okay. I think a lot of people I think one thing that needs to be clarified, I think people think this is a typical portfolio management company, but for the portfolio management service for high net worth individuals, is the trust a separate entity, aka also known as, is the structure linked to you for tax purposes?
So again, a lot of tax questions here. So Portfolio Builder is a service as opposed to a portfolio manager where we're actually managing funds for you. Portfolio Builder is an automated tool that allows you to execute this. And the way that Portfolio Builder has been designed, and this is not the online wealth management program, is it has structures whereby you can own it, but you don't achieve you're not the director. And so we set this up in order to allow you to have maximum asset protection and individualized trusts. And put together exactly how I structure it. I do not live in the US, but when we decided how to structure this, we had US Tax Council, we had US compliance, and we had US legal advice in how we would structure this. But again, please separate these things because Portfolio Builder may not be something that is right for you. We give you the tools to do this on your own. And we also have a Portfolio Builder service that is available to a limited number of people. You would want to make the decision to join the online wealth management program based purely on the merits of the content of the online wealth management program. The education and tools you need to go out there and put this into place, as opposed to treating us as your tax advisor, your legal advisor, your financial advisor, or your investment advisor. So it's really important to get that distinction right so that you can manage your expectations. We want this to work whether you do the Portfolio Builder or not. The Portfolio Builder was just something we put together on top in order to, because I spent all the money on the structure, to make that available to those that have completed the online wealth management program and qualified to be able to do that. But that's you will have the tools to go out and do this on your own as well.
Okay. Hi, Simon. Keep up the fitness. You're doing great. I wish I had gotten your advice when I owned 30 Bitcoin. Invest, not trade. Solid advice.
Oh, thank you very much for the comments. And yeah, did a bit of boxing this morning and enjoying the fitness regime. So thank you for the encouraging comments and thanks for holding me accountable to it. So if you're not a subscriber to YouTube yet, or if you're not on my, if you're not a subscriber to YouTube yet, I tend to do these shorter live broadcasts on my Twitter, which is at Simon Dixon Twit, and my YouTube channel, Simon Dixon. So make sure you subscribe and follow. And I always try and give some shorter form content when I'm working out.
I work offshore 6 weeks at a time. with limited access to the internet, would I be losing out too much of the live content of your course to make it worthwhile? Question from Erin.
So the Q&A sessions, firstly, if you want to ask me your specific question, then you can do it on the board. You can ask in advance if you can't take the live session. And if it gets upvoted, just like this session, we cover as many questions as we can in that allocated time. You do not have to attend. You could attend the live or you could watch a recording. You do not have to attend in order to get your questions asked. You can put them on the board and we can answer those questions in the recording and you can return to the recording. People that like to play full out would like to join. Then we have the content that comes out on Monday, and then we have the live session at 5 p.m. GMT on Fridays. So if you can't make it, then enjoy the recording. It may not work for everyone to be able to attend, but you can benefit from the program whether you attend the live sessions or not.
Okay, question from Randy. Really looking forward to becoming a member. How many spots are left? Do I just join Retirement Plan B for $2,997? And will I be signed up for everything from here?
Exactly, yeah. Everything that's covered in the online wealth management program. And so we list on the page very clearly everything that's covered. And that's all we deliver, exactly what we list on the page. There's no additional payments after that. You get access to everything that's covered on that page. Welcome to it. I think almost, after Masterclass 4, most of the places were taken. And I think we've got another 3 days left. I haven't looked at how many spots are available, but we want you to make the right decision that's you, not looking for you to rush into anything. We want to provide the information. You decide what's right for you. You could take the try before you buy thing and do module 1. The interesting thing is if anybody does request a refund in the second week, once the spots are gone, you can be on the waiting list, and then we'll make sure that we notify on a first come first basis. If someone wants a refund, then we'll allocate that spot to somebody else. But last time we got very, very few of those. Most people were happy, and we didn't get many requests at all.
Can the course assist with tax structuring? I've been buying and hodling for 3 years, probably lots of taxable events that needs to be addressed.
So we have a tax module to help you understand your situation. So you can take the different types of taxable events, you can understand the likelihood, you can take that information to your accountant and tax advisor, and you can have a sensible conversation rather than them looking at you with a blank face. So this is designed to give you clarity. And once you have that clarity, you can then put together your plan. That's one of the core protections that are covered in the 10 protections that we cover in Retirement Plan B.
Okay, we have another question from Erin. Do we get direct access to your tax advisors or other special advisors? Would they work directly with us or simply offer advice?
So the content is all delivered by them online in the program. If you decide that you want to inquire about services with any of the expert advisors, then that's a completely separate relationship, and you could decide if you wanted to engage any of their services. Then the community may have different people that they're recommending, that they're working with, so that you can benefit from the community. But no, it's not within the program. You don't have the ability to have your own tax advisor within the program. That's not what it is. It's a complete, I give you exactly what I'm doing. And if you wish to make separate engagements, then make separate engagements, but it's not an alternative to actually getting your own tax advisor that's bespoke to your jurisdiction and your situation.
Okay, naysayers in my life say that crypto isn't based on anything, just like fiat currency. They also say the people who are on the inside can just take my money.
So return to Masterclass 1, where we went through the 7 reasons why people don't buy Bitcoin, and that is exactly one of them. If it is, then you can return to that. We covered that in the live Masterclass. If you haven't seen that one, I strongly suggest. But people have been telling me that for every day for the last decade. You know, I don't know, if you use that as a mechanism for not doing your own research and not discovering your own opinion, then the online wealth management program is designed to give you all the information for you to actually make that assessment. So you don't have to listen to other people. And that's really why we do this. We don't want you listening to other people. We want you really having the tools that you need to make your own decisions, know what's right. And here's the fun part. The good thing about Bitcoin is the more people that think it's a Ponzi scheme, no intrinsic value, currency just for drug dealers, and there's nothing to it, then that creates the asymmetric risk-reward returns because from my perspective and my investment thesis is that none of those things are the case. And so therefore you get to benefit because they'll be the same people that are on board once everyone believes the same thing. That's the asymmetric opportunity. And then Bitcoin becomes like gold at that stage where no one calls it a scam or a Ponzi scheme. And that's the stage at which the naysayers may be on board. And so you get to benefit the earlier that people have made their own opinion about it, the more they have been rewarded over time. And so that's really the game here.
I do not plan on ever retiring. I'm 59 and do not plan on ever retiring as that would bore me. Are there regulations that would keep me from benefiting?
No, so the retirement plan B structure is called a retirement plan. And it's structured as a retirement plan, but it's not like a government retirement plan or something like that where you're locked in and you're forced to reach a certain age and stop work. That's not what it does. It's really a name to make people think long term because the key results that we're trying to encourage is longer term thinkers rather than short term. There's no mechanism that locks you in there or that type of stuff. It doesn't matter whether you retire or not. But if you want to put your retirement plan B in some kind of structure that has those restrictions, then that would be part of your decision-making process as well about whether you use those structures or not.
Okay, I'm an Irish resident. Will the course suit me?
You're welcome if you're from Ireland. And we had Irish people on the program last year and they really enjoyed the program.
Okay, I think this one's more centered around privacy. Is the amount of money I invest visible for you or online in a database? This is not a private. All right, well, let's condense that down. So firstly, you're not investing any money with this. You're completing the online wealth management program, which is an educational program to give you all the tools and everything that you need in order to put together your own plan. You may decide that you want to use fully decentralized services and put together the structure based upon exactly the goals that you're looking to set for yourself, then that's fine. If you lose any type of centralized financial service in any type of financial product, then the regulations are not just, it's illegal to do anonymity in today's day and age in any kind of centralized financial product. So any financial institution that you engage with will not be able to legally allow you to be anonymous. That's your decision about what types of services that you're going to be using. Then if you're talking about the structure afterwards, then again, that's the structure that you decide to use. So you're not
if you use banktothefuture.com, we're a regulated company. We have to meet all of our regulatory obligations when offering our service. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to offer the service, and we'd be shut down. So that's the place. But yeah, when you buy the program, then it's you're not putting any money with us. You're not investing money with us. You're purchasing the program.
Okay, it's that time. It's 6:30 now. One more question, or?
Yeah, let's do one more question, and then, as promised, how many more questions have we got even before now?
So let's see if I just remove that. It's saying 190 questions. Yeah.
Jesus, it's not going down. Okay,
No,
so
it's
we're going to be
coming
coming back tomorrow. I think we're going to do another session. We want to get as many questions as we can get. So if you're watching this on the recording, we would do that one final question, but if you're watching this on the recording, then use this board to ask your questions and upvote other people's questions. And I'm going to return tomorrow, and we're going to pick up the top rated questions and get through as many as we can, just like this. I really want you to have all the information you need, either to implement this using the free masterclass, or make your decision about whether you think the online wealth management program is right for you, and whether you'll be joining us next Monday when we start. Okay, Azad, was that a good question for the last one, or is it? Should we end here?
I think that was a good question for the last one. Yep. Otherwise, we're going to carry on for another half an hour because there's lots of good questions.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we're going to be back. I'm going to do another AMA session. I'm really not trying to apply any type of pressure. We're only able to work with 500 people. We're starting next Monday. Most people registered after the fourth masterclass. And so once we hit that 500, then we'll be closing for registration. Because the class begins on Monday, we'll keep that open until we either hit the 500 or the time expires there. So you can, there's the button if you've decided that it's right for you. And there's the links to all the free masterclasses as well if you want to binge and take the challenge and go back to it. So awesome questions. Always remember, for those of you that have already completed the live masterclass, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot out of it. And I hope you do exactly what many people did last year, where they took the content. They may not have been in a position to join the wealth management program. They implemented what they learned, and now they're joining us the second time around because they are now in a financial position to join the program. If this is right for you, then I'll see you inside the membership portal. And always remember, you are alive at one of the most interesting and exciting times in financial history. Some are going to get hurt, others are going to do really well. I want to make sure that you're on the right side of that change. Peace.